Hey everyone, GScotty here. In this series, I try to get an hour of gameplay for every dollar spent on a certain game. So, with that in mind, is Lake of Creatures worth $1 an hour? Make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and let's check it out. I'm a sucker for good fishing mini-games in video games. Regardless of the JRPG memes, I find that taking a moment to just breathe and relax by the waterside, all to reel in a cute little fish or eldritch horror monstrosity, depending on the game, to be a great little distraction from all the running around you normally do. So, what if the whole game centered around the fishing minigame and guns? There's a lot of guns. Lake of Creatures is a game I heard about on social media, and the premise was really fun sounding. A roguelike where you hunt lakeside monsters and fishing is your main form of currency? Sounds like a wacky good time to me. The game costs $12.50 US, so I guess we'll see if we can play for a little more than 12 hours. Let's see what this little gem has in store. Lake of Creatures is a roguelike developed by Antenna Games and was released on November 15th, 2024. It's time to test your mettle as you hunt down mutant monsters and scale a variety of lakes to figure out the mystery of just what happened to this place, all while trying to complete the Herculean task of simply surviving. As a not recovering addict of roguelikes, I've come to anticipate very intricate and complex game and level design from the randomizing dungeon crawlers. However, Lake of Creatures instead offers a very simple and snappy type of gameplay, and honestly, I think it's all the better for it. There's nothing wrong with layered game design, far from it, but I find the occasional simple game to be very fun and refreshing. Lake of Creatures is just that. The map is easy to understand, the various buffs are simple yet effective, and the enemies' patterns are easy to get the hang of. Don't get confused though, just because Lake of Creatures is quote-unquote simple, that doesn't mean that it's quote-unquote easy. The game is surprisingly challenging due to something that I would like to lovingly call designed jank. When I first dipped my toes in the lakes, I was admittedly a little frustrated that the overall movement and fishing line casting felt very archaic, I guess. However, I decided to give it some more time, and after a few rounds, I found myself getting the hang of it, and even finding fun ways to more or less min-max traversal and fishing. The game forced me to use my noggin, and I thought very highly of it for that purpose. Now, I won't say the game is perfect, nor is every bit of the jank something I consider a feature, or even something to overlook entirely. It can be pretty challenging to understand what something means because of the lack of certain tutorials. For example, as of writing this review, I have no idea how to unlock these moon tiles, like, at all. Did I miss something? Was there a tutorial about this? Did I just miss it? I have no idea. Not only that, but the fishing is a bit tedious at times. Most of the time, the fish will bite no problem. It's completely fine. But there are a few times I could be doing everything right and the fish just sit there and eventually they just fade away. It can get pretty frustrating when I need to get money and the main form of currency can be really finicky. Needless to say, Lake of Creatures is a lot of fun with a more simplistic design and snappy gameplay. Though the game isn't perfect by any merits and a little difficult to understand at times, I can't help but want to keep playing. I think it's a ton of fun. But just how much fun will I have, par se? Will we have enough enjoyable content to last 12.5 hours? Well, only one way to find out. Let's check out Lake of Creatures hour by hour. I had a really hard time deciding if I should play the game on keyboard or controller. There were some things that I liked about both of them, and there were some things that I didn't like about both of them. I came to the conclusion, though, that I am a filthy casual, and I stuck with the controller. I find it really fun that the game has very quick levels, yet encourages exploration at the same time. You can bolt it to the next lake, or you can take your time and explore. You can take your time, but throughout enemy encounters, your powerful gun will deteriorate. Most roguelikes I've played more or less encourage the player to get faster and faster as they progress, so I welcome the ability to choose your own speed and have a valid reason and reward for whichever speed you go. I wasn't able to get too far for the first few hours, which was admittedly pretty discouraging. However, I was able to find my groove after a while and even unlocked a new character named Bridget that I actually kind of liked a lot more than the default character. Kind of. I don't like that she has way less health, but it is what it is. It's fun. I liked all the bosses that I encountered, especially the massive frog. 'Cause it's a frog. I will say though, I am noticing that the fishing can feel pretty finicky and can also slow down the momentum at times. That, and I keep accidentally buying things at the shop even though I'm just trying to check out the prices. That's kind of a doof. And bullets phase through enemies sometimes, and sometimes my melee attack just doesn't hit the enemy. This is kind of janky a little bit. Also, whenever you accomplish certain quests, you supposedly get a reward, but like, where's the reward? What does the reward do? Have I just completely overlooked things? I do like the game's simplicity a lot. I think it's one of the biggest strengths that the game has. But I would really like to know where things are, or what they do. I will say though, the promise of discovering the mystery of what happened to the lakes is keeping me coming back for more. Every time you die, a little screen will come up and say, "Mystery remains unsolved." It's just sitting there, it's taunting me. It's egging me on to try at least one more time. Yeah, I've been here for a while. I'm having a great time with it. I genuinely, honestly am. I'm only nitpicking the game or like pointing out some of the game's negatives because I really want to see it get patched, get fixed up, because I want to keep playing it and I think that it has a lot of really good meat on the bones. So yeah, don't take all of my critiques as like super negatives or anything like that. It's just things that I've noticed. Honestly, I really am having a good time playing the game. Lake of Creatures is a very fun and creative take on roguelikes. I love the snappy simplicity of the combat, as well as the idea of turning a fishing minigame into the main backbone of the whole experience. Getting a good build in this game is immensely satisfying, especially when you get to turn up on a boss and absolutely melt their health bars. I do think that Lake of Creatures could use a bit of polish here and there. Some of the janky elements actually work in the game's favor, like the traversal, but there are some moments with combat hitboxes, confusing quest rewards, and honestly, sometimes the fishing itself that really took me out of the experience. It's a shame too. Overall, I really like Lake of Creatures, and I would love to keep playing it. If it ever gets some performance updates, I would recommend this game in a heartbeat. It's fun, quick to pick up and play, and has a ton of charm. As it stands, I still recommend it, but only if you can look past the occasional rough patches. If you do give it a try, I know you'll have a really good time. So what's the final verdict? Is Lake of Creatures worth $1 an hour? Maybe on a discount, but I would personally say, yes, it's worth the price. A massive thank you to all of you who are members of the channel, especially the biggest patrons of the month, my pal Johnny Appleseed and Telemachus826. If you want to support the channel and gain access to cool perks like exclusive videos, let's plays, stream VODs, and more, click the join button to learn how. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Bye-bye!